welcome to the General Committee meeting of the 8th of July 2024. We're recording and publishing in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993. Cowra Council is recording General Committee and Council meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded on Tuesday morning. By speaking at these meetings, you agree to being recorded. Please ensure that when you speak that you are respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Cowra Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we gather, the Wiradjuri people, and pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging. Attendance, we have Erin Watt, Councillor Erin Watt, who is an apology because she's on holidays, Councillor Bill West, who's working, and Councillor Paul Smith, who is ill. Disclosure of interest. I'd like to move, can I have somebody move and second the apologies? Thank you, Councillor Kiss, Councillor Smith. All in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Disclosure of interest. Councillors and staff, please indicate in relation to any interest you need to declare what report item you're declaring an interest in, whether the interest is pecuniary or non-pecuniary, and what's the nature of the interest. Councillor Smith.
I declare a non-pecuniary interest in item 3.1, donation to the Woodstock show, as a member of the Show Society, and I'll leave the room.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Any further? Councillor Delbo.
Thank you. Item 4.1, the Traffic Committee meeting minutes, in particular the section for the Cowra Junior Soccer. I will declare a non-pecuniary interest. I am the treasurer of that committee, and I will step out of the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. Any further items of interest, declarations of interest? I'd also like to welcome our, I was going to say fill-in, but our Larissa Hackett, who is acting General Manager, Philippa Childs, acting Operations and Infrastructure, and Glenn Oakley, who is acting Environmental Services Director. Thank you. And Graham is, as Graham is. He's acting. He's still acting. So just to make sure everyone understands who's here, no member of the public has registered to speak. Now we need to confirm the minutes of the general meeting held on the 11th of June. So I have a mover, Councillor Smith and Councillor Delbo. Is there any discussion about those minutes? In that case, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. The Director of Corporate Services has an item on 3.1, and that's on page 17. If you go there, this is the donation to Woodstock Memorial Show. Councillor Smith's leaving the room. Thank you. Somebody move that?
I'd like to move an amendment, please.
Yes. What kind of?
To increase it to 2,000 as per their request.
Okay. Have you got a seconder for that?
Do that myself anyway. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Councillor Downing. Would you like to speak to that?
Yep, thank you. The Woodstock Memorial Show is a highly successful event in our shire. They have stated in their application that they attract 3,500 people to this event. I have been there on a few occasions and can witness how many people actually come through the gate. I think also going forward with the cost of living on families and our senior residents, this is an excellent event to be able to get out to and experience, where they have a lot of activities that are free and would help families to be able to be a part of their family and also contribute should they wish. It's a very hard-working community and in particular this committee, and I wish them all success with the event.
Thank you, Councillor Downing.
I'd agree with what Councillor Delbo has just said. I was actually going to ask why it's been recommended that it be 1,500 when they've asked for 2,000. Can we have clarification?
It was the increase from previous years.
Yeah. Okay. I too agree that this show is just such an attraction for the small village of Woodstock. All the money goes back into the community and the whole community is involved in this, and I'd support it 100% to be the amount they've asked for.
Thank you, Councillor Downing. Any further speakers for or against? Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I actually support Councillor Downing and Councillor Delbo's recommendation. I do think it's a wonderful attraction, not only for Woodstock, but for the entire Shire. And I do note that they have kept their prices for entering quite down low. It's adults $10, pensioners $5, and all children free. This could be an amazing day out for so many families that might not otherwise be able to afford a day out. And they've also said that they are looking to have a substantial number of free activities. This is what we want to hope for in a country community focus. So I too support the full $2,000.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. Councillor Wright, would you like to have a say?
Yeah, no, I support it. It's I think it's $2,000 very well spent by by Cowra Shire Council to help the village run their annual show. It's part of showcasing the Cowra Shire, and they have a very good lineup of exhibitions and displays and amusement for everyone. And I think it's well fitted that we are seen to provide some assistance to them. I note there's $49,000 available to go towards the event, and they estimate the cost of $25,000 to put it on. That $25,000 wouldn't include all the volunteers' hours that go into getting the show ready. But I think our $2,000, if it helps them make a successful day, it doesn't, because they don't need much of something to go wrong, and the expected income can go south, and the expenses stay the same, and they can make a big hole in the funds that they've got put aside to run this show and possibly the next show. And so I support it 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Delbo, would you like to write a reply?
No, thank you.
If there's no further comment, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Carried. So now on page 21, we have Councillor Smith. We need her vote. So we now have investments and financial report number 3.2 on page 21. Somebody move that the report be noted. I need some people. Councillor Delbo, thank you very much. And Councillor Kiss, thank you very much. Councillor Delbo, would you like to comment?
Thank you so much. I'll just note a couple of standouts in the investment report we have in front of us is for the period of the month of June. Coming up in July, for the month of July ending, we have 8 investments, term deposits ending. That's to a value of $4.5 million. We also have an estimated interest on investment for the 23-24 financial year, which has just finished a 1.6 or just over $1.6 million. I was just wondering when the actual figure may be presented to us at council, but I'll take that on notice for that one. Rates owing, we have just over $700,000, and that is under arrangements with our local ratepayers or legal action. And everything looks fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. Councillor Kiss, would you like to comment?
Just briefly, it's reassuring to see our interest rates going up as far as our investments go, because we know that that's always going to give us a few extra dollars in the bank for a rainy day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. Any further comments? If not, I'll write a reply. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Page 30, we have the rent of enclosed dedicated roads, and can I have somebody move that? Councillor Smith. Councillor Downing, would you like to comment, Councillor Smith?
Yes, it's to the credit of the Corporate Services Department and the Acting Director that after one complaint about an excessive increase in the rent for these roads, they had a look and realised that there had been an error, and this 2-point recommendation is to correct that error so that the rent will increase by a rate pegging margin rather than the extra amount that was first flagged.
Thank you. Councillor Downing?
Yes, just to agree with Councillor Smith that this would have been an exorbitant increase, and it's nice that it's been picked up, and I fully support both recommendations.
Thank you. Any further comment? Right apply? That case, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Page 31, we have the Traffic Committee minutes from, and Councillor Delbo's leaving the room. Thank you. I have a mover and a seconder. Councillor Smith, thank you. Councillor Kiss, thank you. Councillor Smith?
No, there are a lot of recommendations, and not being on the Traffic Committee, I have read the minutes, but I don't really have anything to add to the recommendation.
Any further comments? Councillor Kiss?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I did read, but I have to admit I didn't fully understand about the approval for Tier 3 PBS level 2B, 30 metres, a double access at high mass limit. And it's not to say that those in the know don't know what they're talking about, and they're obviously for a reason. But is there anything that could briefly be said to confirm what they are?
I am not on Traffic Committee either, but I understand that there have been multiple requests for these movements of larger trucks with higher mass limits, especially around grain receival areas and Mangar Street. So this will allow for that.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. We might ask the same question if the Director of Engineering or Operations back, or Councillor Smith is the Chairman of the Traffic Committee. He might have more information at the committee. Councillor Wright.
A question first. The junior soccer be permitted to activate a speed zone reduction. Will that be enforceable by the police, provided they do it subject to the guidelines?
That's correct, it will.
Yes.
During our sport and recreation meetings, this has come up. So there are 40-kilometre signs over there already set up. They just actually have to have this accredited person to turn them around during junior soccer on a Saturday morning. And they were, at some stages, they were discussing whether they needed to train people or whether they could actually have people who were already involved in the club to actually do it and volunteer for it on Saturday. And at this time that they do have those people on the involved in junior soccer, so they're happy with the situation.
Thank you, Councillor Downing, for the explanation. Councillor Wright, you've got another question.
Yeah, I support the reduction of the speed there, and you would like to think that people, when they see a number of cars parked up alongside a sporting field, they would normally reduce their speed anyway. But with children playing sport there, and with the American Embassy just across the road, people do cross the road on numerous occasions, and we need some safety there. The number 6, I can see that's for getting access mostly to grain areas, and these bigger trucks that have got permit to use them on certain roads but not others needs to happen in these areas, so producers can get the benefit of the cheaper freight used by these higher volume trucks. And I think even on number A it could be even so a truck owner can get his drivers to legally drive from the Bora Road home to their depot. And I'm trying to put a submission together for the Local Government New South Wales Conference, is that Transport for New South Wales accept registration for these higher use combinations, higher volume use of combinations, but they don't seem to want to increase their budget to upgrade roads so they can be used everywhere they need to go. And this is the frustrating part, that the owners of the business or the truck's got to come to council to get permission for these to happen, whereas Transport for New South Wales should be the oversight of it and ensure that the roads are able to use these trucks. I'm probably wrong in what I'm saying, but that's what it seems to happen to me, and they just seem to be getting bigger all the time. Once we used to get a 4-deck livestock carrier out to our place, but now they seem to want to come in B doubles all the time, in case when they get to where they're going from our place, they might need a B double for the next load. And once these vehicles are registered and on the road, the consumers or the people buying the grain or the livestock at the other end expect all these trucks to be able to go wherever they want to go. And so I think Transport for New South Wales needs to lift their game a bit and ensure that we have a road network that can handle the trucks, that they're quite happy to take a significant amount of money and registration from these truck drivers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Smith, would you like any further discussion? Oh, Councillor Smith, would you like right of reply? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Councillor Delbo, could you? Thanks, Councillor Wright. Oh, what? It's all right. Larissa's gone. Thank you. We've got the section 355 committee minutes for the Sale Yards Committee on page 39. Councillor Wright, do you want to? Mm. 39. Okay, can we just change that council right to Ian Wright to the mayor right to Ian Wright? Because it's a bit strange coming from, I don't know who would write from council. If everyone's comfortable with that change. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Downing. Councillor Wright, would you like to speak?
With that additional change is probably what we expected to do. Ian Wright's served on the committee for quite some time. He has been a farmer, uses the sale yards. He's been a butcher and small goods manufacturer and markets, farmer markets supporter, and he's bought stock out of the sale yards to put through that business. And so he's been involved in the sale yard industry all his life. And I think the time that he's taken and he put into it, he deserves a letter of recognition. The other thing there is the EID. I think it might be on this next page or something. We had a meeting last week. Our EID funding has been increased to allow us to set up all the drafting yards in the sale yards, so they'll all be able to operate with electronic scanning of sheep coming through, which officially starts on the 1st of January 2025, where all lambs that are born after that date will need an electronic ear tag. And by 2028, I think all sheep are supposed to be tagged. There are many producers now using these tags, and so there will be some sheep that will be useful in the first few years, that more than just the lambs from next year that will be identified through this system. And we've been told to implement it as part of the biosecurity control of having, of knowing what sheep from what property end up going to somewhere else. So this has been going on with the cattle industry for many years, could be 15 years. And our funding went from 140 odd thousand up to 260, I think. And our staff have, from what I can see, have got most of the hardware put in, and we just need to put the electronic work in there. We also need to try and make it Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi area, so that the information can go back to the computers in the office. And they think they can do it, and we hope they'll do it. But a few comments after the sale, it wasn't negative, because the Young Road's notorious with Telstra and their provision of service, and this operates under a Telstra system, I think. And that was one problem. If it's down, what happens on sale day? But this could be at any sale yard. And if we have a blackout, what happens? So we'll probably need to have some sort of backup if necessary, and if we do go and buy a generator, that will ensure that we will not need to use one because we won't have a blackout. Other than that, that's on the things, but also last week's meeting discussed the 60th birthday of the sale yards in their present site. The I think it's 23rd of September, and we're planning on having a bit of a get-together day there, and invite buyers and producers from past to come back for the auction for that day's sale. It is on a Wednesday, which is good and bad because we still got to run the business. We hope to have a bit of a display there, and some thought that I've had is to have a healthcare day, which has been successful in other years. A few static displays of this new EID displays or any machinery relating to livestock production, and make it a bit of a day, and put on a lamb barbecue to feed the masses, and at council's expense. Thank you.
We look forward to that, Councillor Wright. Councillor Downing, would you like to comment?
Yeah, just to say congratulations to Ian Wright. He was telling me the other day that he was there at the opening, so we're celebrating 60 years. He wasn't on the committee then, I don't think. But yeah, congratulations, and highly support that we send him a letter to say thank you for his time. Had a question about the social media page. So what would you be wanting to advertise through social media?
Peter, can you answer that, or is
Yeah, well,
Philippa can actually like that too?
social media's come up regularly at our meetings because we feel that we need to advertise to keep it in front of our producers. And once you used to just rely on the Guardian, you have three editions a week, and something was happening, everyone bought it. But now that doesn't happen, and with a Wednesday sale, the results of that sale aren't ready to go into the Thursday edition of the Guardian. But we're just looking at ways that we can use social media in a good way to get information out there about how good it is to sell in Cowra. And we aren't owned by a superannuation company that seems to have bottomless pits, and the media go and talk to them regardless of how good they're going. And we're just trying to find a value in the social media market. Facebook's been mentioned, and some of the agents have a regular Facebook update, but we'd like to try and bring those in, or something similar under the council banner as we're the owner of an operator of the yards, and hopefully with our new PR person, or comms person as they sometimes call, might have some idea of doing it. The biggest drawback is that someone's got to do it, And most of us are the older generation and not real up to date with the social media comments, and then listening to the news yesterday or something, and after that meeting last week, I think Paul Smith said to me, well, you don't put anything on social media because they can find things, and this AI has got things out there now. I know I'm going a bit off track, but
Yes.
with this AI, if you put pictures up of people there and their children or something, it could have children there or something, you get permission to do it, but it goes on there, and even if it's a closed site, these sites can get in and create AI profiles of these people and then use it without you knowing about it. So
Thank you, Councillor Wright.
I'll see you. Thank you. I know. Yeah, I have got a bet on how long this meeting's going to go.
Oh, so
I was
so
wondering.
I was just going to address the fact that I thought that I supported that they do that as advertising, but now I'm not sure I do. So I just thought that would be a good thing to look into. And it's mentioned that we have a sale yards guide. I'm sure that is that a paper copy of something that they put out to people, the sale yards guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably the way of the past. So yeah, the social media and the online stuff is the future. Is all my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dunning. There is actually the guides on the council website. It's actually quite comprehensive, and if you use the sale yard, you're supposed to do that checklist, and a whole lot of electronic information is on the website. I've checked it out, and it's quite comprehensive, but it is very electronic. So, Councillor Philippa?
Yeah, just to add, the sale yards guide referred to in here is a pull-out that goes in the land newspaper once a year. Yeah, it's a different document.
Excellent, thank you.
I just add that all sales that happen over there are public information, so you should be able to access what sales happen on that day, because it is a public auction.
Thank you. So, any further comment about the Sale Yards Committee meeting? Okay, if that's the case, and you, is that all right? You don't know right of reply? Okay, well, thank you very much.
And in reply, you can't introduce new material, so I'm stuffed.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Thank you very much. We'll move on to the Development Director of Environmental Services report and the development application on page 45. And this is a modification. So if somebody, Councillor Smith and Councillor Delbo, thank you very much. Councillor Smith, would you like to comment?
This is a minor modification which didn't need to be advertised to neighbours. It's merely moving a carport back 4 metres from the front and a little bit closer to the side, half a metre closer to the side. Having a look at the aerial photograph of the houses around that, there are lots of buildings, sheds and so on, right on the boundaries. So I don't see that as any problem, doesn't alter anything that was assessed previously.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Delbo.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to add, thank you, Councillor Smith, always very thorough with the DA. So I just would like to add to that the reason that this modification, is in front of us is because the original development application came to council for consideration. There are now 16 conditions a part of this, and the proposal remains consistent with the zone's objectives. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. Any further comment? Councillor Downing, yes.
How does this affect the shadowing? So they did quite a lot of detailed shadowing for when it was passed last time, and I just wanted to know how this affects the shadowing.
Yeah, so as it says in the report, there's a minor improvement to the overshadowing, mainly because the building's been moved back 4 metres, so it gets a little bit of midday sunshine, a little bit extra.
Thank you. Any further comments? Right of reply, Councillor Smith? If that's the case, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? DA, everybody unanimous? Thank you. Move on to development application number 80, 2023, 104. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Delbo, Councillor Smith, Councillor Delbo.
Thank you. Again, this is development application in front of us tonight for 8 Short Street, Cowra. It's a 3-part recommendation in front of us. First and foremost, to demolition of an existing dwelling, construction of 4 detached dwellings, and then a 4-lot Torrens title subdivision. The size of the block is 1,445 metres squared, and it is zoned in R1, which is general residential. This is going to be a 3-staged approach, this development application, as per the report, and they have indicated that on page 107. The first stage being the demolition, and then the second, the construction of the 4 new dwellings, and the final stage, the 4-lot Torrens title subdivision. There is a variation sought for this in regards to under section E, in regards to the site frontage, the rear setbacks, and separation between the habitable rooms and balconies. And I reckon Councillor Smith will be all over those, so I'll leave that for her to talk about. There are 43 conditions in this development application, and the contribution fees, sorry, I landed you in it, sorry. The contribution fees under section 94A are just over $18,000. It did go out on public consultation back in 2023 from the 5th of September to the 19th of September, and we have received no submissions from the adjoining owners. There is one part that didn't write, just bear with me for one moment, I've got to just find it. DAs are always large documents. I'll come back to it when I have my reply. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. Councillor Smith.
Thank you. As Councillor Delbo said, there are a lot of conditions on this, and because it's near some energy infrastructure, Central Energy has also put a whole number of conditions on it, so it's been assessed very well. Councillor Bilbo asked me to talk about how it doesn't comply with our DCP, which is basically the fact that the 4 houses are quite close together and quite close to front and side setbacks, and in particular, so there are 2 houses facing one street, 2 houses facing another, and the rear sections are quite close together, and I think at one stage there is a slightly elevated veranda that will give oversight into private spaces of the house backing onto it, and that has been handled with some high fences and some extra material that will, I can't remember what the material, that will keep those 2 private and separate. So while I'd have to say it's not my favourite development, in that it is 4 houses very close together to maximise income by the developer, I would imagine, given that there were no neighbour objections, given that it's not a heavily trafficked area, there won't be a lot of cars coming past the front and all that sort of thing, and given that people will choose whether to buy there or not, I am in favour of the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Any further comments? Councillor Wright.
I have a question. Is there any other demolitions going on that street?
And you can, I'd take that offline, maybe take that on notice would be best.
You can take on notice, but I come in past Led Street. I was also at the DPI building. and there's a fair bit of demolition going on in one site there around the house and so forth. I don't know, can they shift dirt and everything as long as the house stays there or something? I just hope that they haven't received this and it's been, they thought it's been passed, but we haven't passed it officially yet. And I just hope it's not happening. Hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, councillor Wright. We'll take it on notice. Thank you.
But I do support the development. I just hope they're obeying by what we want to do.
Excellent. Any further comment, councillor Kiss?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I support this development. I support the diversity of the housing. I think that that's something that we need to be considering into the future. It's a good use of the land close to the CBD. And I also applaud the designer for giving consideration to the livability design, such as a step-free access, parking to the entrance, and the potential for hobless shower. These are all things that can end up costing quite a bit of money in retrofitting. So I think that design actually suits an ageing in place type principle. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Kiss. Further comments? Like reply?
Thank you. I just probably didn't say the most important part of it is that these new dwellings are a 2-bedroom plus study, and they will be on equal lots. Lot 1 and Lot 2 are accessed from Market Lane, and lots 3 and 4 will be accessed from Short Street. But the point that I found of most interest in the report was on page 128 under section 4.15, the public interest. And I'm going to read it out. And the reasons why I'm reading this out is that we have had other developments in front of us where we have had to make consideration of multiple dwellings on the site. And I thought this summed up tonight's application quite well. It's under the title Community Interest. The proposed development is permissible on the subject land and is not expected to adversely impact on the community interests of the area. The proposed development has been considered in terms of the context and setting of the locality in previous sections to this report. The proposed development will positively contribute to development within the locality and will not impose any identified adverse economic or social impacts on the local community. Thanks.
Thank you, councillor Delbo. If I'll put the motion now, all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. And that's passed. So we have no late reports. We have no notices of motion. We have no confidential matters. If that's, I'll declare the meeting closed at 5:38. Thank you all very much for your contributions and go home safely.